Welcome to the Lifestyle Builders Podcast, Show 5. In our last episode, we talked about all things mindset. Today, we're chatting on testing your business idea and actually making sales. Welcome to the Lifestyle Builders Podcast, where we bring you real-life strategies on starting and growing a business and finding financial freedom without sacrificing the life you have with your loved ones. We are your hosts, Tom and Ariana Sylvester, and we are married, we're parents, and we're serial entrepreneurs. This podcast is for those who want more out of life. We'll show you how to take the vision you have and create the business that will help you achieve it. Join us as we share practical steps, real-life stories, and help you become a lifestyle builder. You're giving me the weirdest look right now. So before we jump into today's show, I want to talk a little bit about the mindset topic that we just chatted on and how sometimes we can try to be something that we're not, or we feel that we need to be something that we're not.
Why am I afraid?
Some of you, well, actually, I don't know how many of you know this, but Tom used to have a very weird obsession with Eminem. And because of that obsession, he decided he was going to make some changes about himself. And one of those was bleaching his hair.
I did have hair at one point.
You did. And yes, all of you who've met him recently know that he is bald. So this is a very odd thing to be thinking about in your mind, what he used to look like with bleach blonde hair. Disclaimer, there are some photos of this on the internet somewhere if you dig far enough back in Facebook.
I was gonna say, it's a good thing that like Facebook wasn't around back then.
Oh, there's some of you because your sister posted
I know
in a photo war on Facebook.
Well, but here's the thing. So one, bleach blonde hair is cool. And it was definitely no.
Was
not
very,
cool
very slightly
Okay.
not for that.
Well, I made it cool.
Okay.
But two, Eminem is phenomenal. He is an amazing rapper.
He is.
May not like his content depending on who you are, but he was very talented.
He was very talented.
And you know, a lot of people don't know. I actually bleached it before he did.
Sure,
and then
you
once he
did.
came in, then it was associated. Well, it's just like our dog, right? So we got a dog from a shelter, and her name was Lily, and we renamed her Delilah. And then that song, like, "Hey there, Delilah," like came out, and then everyone's like, "Oh, you named her after the song." It's like, no, we had it first.
I don't know about you having bleach blonde hair before Eminem. I don't know if I believe that.
All right, what are we talking about today? enough of my bleach blonde hair.
Seriously, guys, go look up those photos. So we're talking about business ideas. Everyone has them. Everyone has lots of them.
Yes, they do.
But let's talk about why they're not worth anything yet.
Yeah, it's funny. I talk to a lot of people, and you know, they're looking to start a business or they have an idea. So I'm like, okay, you know, walk me through it. And they're like, oh, I can't
tell you.
I
can't tell anyone.
And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, you might steal it. And I'm like, okay, one, I'm not going to steal your idea. Two, your idea is probably terrible and you don't even know it.
Harsh.
And then, you know, three, the idea is just like one very tiny piece of the puzzle. I mean, like, how many people, like, I've even done it, like, you've probably done it. You have an idea for something. You're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if they had X? And then you stop there. And then, like, 5 years later, you saw somebody else created X, and you're like, oh, I had that idea. I totally could have done it. But guess what? You didn't. And people like to look at that and say, okay, well, I could have been a great entrepreneur because I had the idea. That person just went and did it. But the actually going and doing it is what actually makes the difference.
Yes.
So your idea is worth very little on its own, especially because you haven't tested it out. It's really the implementation and going through all those steps that separates somebody that just has a good idea and a successful entrepreneur.
Well, let's talk about the biggest issue with something that's just an idea. It's not a good business until you actually have people that are willing to pay you for it.
Yeah. And well, that's a great point, because what a lot of people will do is they'll have an idea, and then they'll go and talk to their mom, and they'll go and talk to their friend, and they're like, yeah, honey, it's such a good idea. You should go ahead with it.
Who calls you honey?
I don't know. Who does call me honey?
Nobody.
This is a theoretical example.
Okay.
But that's the thing. So a lot of people take that, like they might take a couple people saying it's a good idea, and then they rush off and just go and do it.
They rush off and start spending lots of money on like, oh, I got to create my name and my logo, and I got to make my website and buy the domain, and so no one steals it. And and you haven't even made sure that someone's going to pay you for this idea yet.
Yeah, well, you forgot like the business cards.
Oh,
like,
yes,
what's
sorry.
my perfect name, right?
Mhm.
I mean, like, and we tell you guys all this, like we've done it.
Oh yeah, we've totally done it.
I mean, like when we had our IT consulting company that ended up like failing and going under, I think we spent like 6 weeks trying to come up with the perfect name.
I ended up coming up with the perfect
And
name.
here's the thing. None of that matters if you haven't really tested and validated that idea. And what that ultimately means comes back to your point of, will somebody pay me money for this, right? Is this a big enough problem for a large enough group of people that you can turn it into a viable business?
Yeah. Yeah. And then the other thing is, too, a lot of people will see like, oh, well, I had this idea, but then I saw someone else was doing it, so now I can't do it. That's not entirely true. They've actually proved the model for you by already having a business with your same idea. But the difference is you're a different person and you bring your own unfair advantage to that business. Maybe you are filling different gaps. Maybe you're appealing to a different audience with the similar business idea. So don't necessarily think that your idea is not worth anything if you all of a sudden see someone else doing it. It actually means the opposite. It is worth something. Somebody's already paying that person for that business idea. Maybe you can put your own spin on it and create a completely different business.
Yeah, and that's a great point. We're not even to my bookshelf yet. We're
Nope.
like 5 minutes in, but I'm going to recommend a book. So there's a really good book out there called Blue Ocean Strategy. And it basically talks about blue ocean is one that really nobody's in, but then it also talks about a red ocean, one where there's a lot of other people in it. And a lot of people will get into a space, like you said, see that there's already somebody out there doing it and think, well, that's bad, I can't do it. To your point, they proved that there's enough customers to build a business out of, and now you just got to figure out how can your business be unique. And then to your point, what is your unfair advantage? Because what a lot of people don't realize is we all have our own unfair advantages, and when we build a business, we want to bring that into it.
Yeah, I feel like they should have picked the next color to be purple. Where's the purple ocean?
Well,
in between the red and the blue.
So you talk about purple. Seth Godin has a really good book called Purple Cow.
God, are you going rogue? Holy crap, 2 books and we're not even 10 minutes in.
I know, exactly. But he does have a really good, and actually this ties in very well.
Of course
so
it does.
What his book is called Purple Cow, and he says you don't want to be better, you want to be different. And he taught his metaphor and how he came up with the title is if you're driving down the road and you see a bunch of cows, you're not going to look because they're just cows. You're used to them. But if you're driving down the road and you see a purple cow, that's different, and that's going to get your attention. And that's exactly what you want to do with your business is if there's already people out there in that space, you want to look and say, how can I be different? How can I fill that gap that they haven't yet? And then that's how I can sell and have my customers.
And how can I appeal to a different audience? How can I attract different people to me? Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's totally what it's about.
Well, I was going to say, so with that, one of the first steps that we always tell people to do is to fill out what's called a lean canvas.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times what people think they have to do is go create this like giant business plan. And I mean, we did that for, like our first 2 businesses because that's all we knew. And what the problem is
kind of needed that also because banks.
Yeah. And if you, that's a good point. If you do go to a bank or if you go to get funding, they're probably going to want a business plan. But even with that, starting out with this 1-page business plan is such a better option because when you try to create a giant business plan, one, most of the stuff you put in there is made up anyways. It's never proven. And 2, you get so demoralized and it takes so much time that once you usually get it done, you just put it on the shelf and you never actually use it. So we use and we recommend this 1-page business plan called a lean canvas. And basically what it does, it has 9 boxes and you're going to fill it out in like a half hour to an hour. And basically it helps you identify and get your thoughts out of your head. Yep. So who are your ideal customers? What problems do they have? What solutions do they have? How can you be different? What's your unfair advantage? How much is it going to cost you to make this? How much are you going to sell it for? Basically, you're going to get all of your thoughts down. And that's your idea for a business or a business model. And then from there, you can start testing it and validating it and seeing where do you have it wrong or maybe got to make some shifts.
Yeah, which involves going out and finding the people that you think are going to be your customers and actually talking to them.
Wait, what? I got to go talk to my actual customers?
Yeah. Well, the problem is most of us make assumptions based on our own picture of things and how we assume people will react or how we assume they feel. We assume what we know what their problems are. And when you create a business based off of your own assumptions, oftentimes they end up being wrong. And then you start to get into the point of trying to sell your product or your services, and you get frustrated because nobody's buying your stuff and you don't understand why. Well, the reason why a lot of times is because you haven't actually talked to the people that you're trying to sell to find out if, one, was that their actual problem, and two, is your solution what they're looking for to fix that problem?
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that because, you know, a lot of people will go and spend a bunch of time and money to create their product, and the way you want to go about it is actually opposite. So you don't want to build your product first. You actually want to develop and build your customers first, and then build your product second. And for most people, that's so counterintuitive. And like when I tell people to do that, they're like, well, how can I go find customers if I don't have a product? And my question back is, well, how are you going to find them when you have a product? Because that's one of the biggest problems.
Don't be so logical, man.
I am a little bit logical. But I mean, that's one of the biggest problems people have is they go and they might make the best product in the world, but they don't know who their customers are, where they are, how to speak in their language, what their biggest pain points are. And you only figure that out by actually talking to them, to your point.
Yeah. Well, and let's not to be Debbie Downers here, but let's talk about some of the issues that pop up when you haven't done that step first.
Oh, man.
Because I know it's going to be hard truths for some people. It's going to be stuff people don't want to hear, but this is real life. We've done it. This has happened to us. This has happened to hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs out there, where we get all gung-ho about our idea. We think it's awesome. We think it's great. So we ignore the little voice in the back of our head saying like, maybe we should, figure this out and take a step back first. And we just go and we try to sell it. And then guess what? We get incredibly and completely demoralized when we make 0 sales.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm so glad you brought this up. And if you're listening to this now and you have an idea or you've already started spending money to build your product or service, like listen to this and please take it to heart. It's going to save you time, money, and a big part, frustration.
Yep.
Because like we've had numerous cases where in the past we've built a product. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't know this and we're going to like now air our dirty laundry, but it's good. It's a good lesson for you guys. So, we had a couple successful businesses and then we shifted into basically having people come to us and saying, hey, can you guys help me start a business? You guys have a couple businesses, you have kids. How do you do it? And so I'll take full blame for this. I'm like, let's have this very step-by-step thing to help people start a business in 30 days. So it was called 30 Days to Launch. Awesome name, right? And I told Ariana, I came home one day. This is usually how ideas go. I said, hey, we're going to create this like 30-day, thing to help people start their business. And we're going to get videos and we're going to make worksheets and we're going to do all this cool stuff. And usually like you have the face right now. You're like, yeah, another one. But so what do? We spent like $1,000 on equipment.
Yep. We bought a green screen that we didn't even use.
Yeah, we
had like the weirdest video setup ever because we had like boxes on top of books in order to like record.
So I'm totally gonna put a picture of that.
Yes, we have one.
So yeah. So if you guys want to see a picture, because
and I'm like 8 months pregnant at the time.
Yeah, nobody can see it in the video, but you'll see in these pictures like.
You can see the bump.
Poor Ariana, yeah. So we'll put a picture at the show notes page at Wow. Throwing it back.
Throwback.
That was Serial Startups was our old brand when we were doing this. So
it's not even Monday, man.
TomandAriana.com/5 will be where the show notes are and where you guys can see a picture of this.
Wow.
But anyway, so we like booked a couple days. We like recorded all these videos. We made all these worksheets. We stitched them all together.
Hours of work.
I mean, like we probably spent at least easily over 100 hours, if not more. Yeah. And we spent like over $1,000. And we went to launch this, and we were planning on selling it for like $500. But we're like, for early adopters, we'll sell it for like $50. And I think we got 2 sales.
I don't even know if one of those counts as a sale.
No?
We had one actual sale, and I think one person was like, we gave him like a beta discount.
Yeah.
So it was not even $50. It was like $10.
Yeah, to be honest, I think they just felt bad for us.
Pretty much. Yep.
But we tell you guys this because this is the backwards way to do it, right? What didn't we do? We didn't talk to customers. We didn't really figure out what they need. And here's the other thing, too. When you talk to customers, you're not just learning from them. You're not just learning about their language and what they need. you're also warming them
Yep.
up. Because guess what? If I talk to you, and like, so for example, if I say, hey, Ariana, I have a new idea, but before I go and develop it, I want to make sure that it's actually something that people would pay for. You're a mother, so can I talk to you about this? And I ask you some questions, and if I truly understand what your pain points are, and then later on I come back and say, hey, Ariana, remember we talked before, and you said these were your pains? I came up with this potential solution, but I want to run it by you and see if it matches your need. You might tell me yes or no, and then ultimately when I have this and I'm ready to sell it, if I come back to you and I've done all the right things, before I even have it, you're going to say, Tom, how can I give you money? Because I need this.
Yep.
Like, I mean, this is a smaller scale, but I had a blog post the other day that I was thinking about writing, and there was a Facebook post that came up all around the same topic, and I had reached out to a couple of people that were talking about it and said, hey, I'm thinking about writing something like this. Would that benefit you? And they're like, oh my gosh, can you send me the link when it's done? So it's a small scale example, but you really want to make sure the demand's there and kind of warm people up, because we now have people ready to read that post when we have it live.
And share it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we know it's valuable because they're asking for it.
Well, and let me give you a scenario here. So say we had taken our 30 days to launch product and done what everyone else out there tells you to do and ran Facebook ads to a webinar and tried to sell the training off the back end of the webinar. What would have happened?
It would have been a lot worse.
We would have spent hundreds of dollars on paid Facebook ads that got us 0 sales.
And you say that, we see people every day. I mean, there's, people that we've actually worked with recently that have done that.
Mm-hmm.
They've spent thousands of dollars on Facebook ads. They've went through and they know their stuff. They have really good information, and it's going to be a good product or service at some point, but they just missed a couple of those steps along the way. And we've done, we can't tell you how many times we've done this in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me a lot of time of running my head into the wall before I actually figure out that it doesn't work. Usually Ariana's the one that helps me figure that out. But that's the thing. And, one of the things that really bothers me is that we see this all the time, right? Everybody tells you what you should do, and you should do this, and you should do that. And I mean, even I hate when people call themselves bloggers or podcasters, because writing a blog is not a business. If you're really trying to build a business to create that life that you want, you've got to make sure that you're going to have customers, and those customers are going to pay you. Or if the customers aren't paying you, you're going to get revenue from an ad or something else. You're going to have
angry bloggers yelling at us.
Well, I'll tell you what, bloggers that aren't making money are angry anyways.
It's very true.
Right?
This is very true.
But this is a lot of what we end up helping people with is we find a lot of people come to us when they've tried all those things and they don't work.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll avoid this stuff we're talking about now because people don't like doing the research. But I promise you guys, if you start talking to your potential customers, your momentum is going to start going, because one of two things are going to happen. Either they're all going to tell you it's a terrible idea, and this sounds bad, but guess what? They're going to save you time and money and frustration, and they'll let you move on to your next idea and test that out.
Yep.
Or they're going to start confirming that it's a good idea, and then you're going to make sales much faster than any other way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's completely true. We've got lifestyle builders who are doing that right now.
Yeah.
And getting great insights from it.
Well, I was going to say, there was one of our lifestyle builders, she had tried doing stuff for the last 2 years. And she's like, I would do a launch and I would have maybe 1 sale or 2 sales. And within 2 weeks of kind of doing this type of a process, she had more people on calls than she'd ever had before. She was coming in and posting in saying that some people had already bought, and she didn't even do a launch.
She completely pivoted what she was doing because she figured out that wasn't even what she wanted or what her customers wanted.
And once she made that pivot, she was talking to the right people. She had to get rid of some of the old people. She was in the right space, and she's like, I made sales without doing a launch, right? So there's times and places for launches, but when you're getting started, you're trying to get that first customer.
Yep.
You don't want to try to launch to 100. You want to get the first, and then the first 5, and then the first 10. And then once you've kind of proven that, then we'll start helping you scale up.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, let's be honest. Paid ads, throwing money at your business or paying for traffic doesn't work if your messaging is off or if you're not aiming that at the right people. And just having traffic come to your site doesn't automatically mean sales if your funnels have gaps, or if you've missed steps in your process, or you haven't tested out the things that you're trying to get people to sign up for free, let alone for sale. So it's tough. I know, everyone kind of wants that easy button. Then they can be like, oh, easy button. I do this and then people come and buy things from me. It's not. It's hard work. And, if you're truly, truly invested in becoming an entrepreneur and creating that better life for yourself and for your family, you've got to do things the right way, or you're just going to get frustrated. You're going to waste time and money, and you're going to get demoralized. You're going to not want to do it anymore, which is not a good place to be.
Yeah, and I mean, so we obviously do marketing and different stuff for our businesses, but we're not experts on ads. But I'm going to guide you guys to somebody who is and what she recommends.
Mm-hmm.
So one of our friends, Amanda Bond, so she's got a company, The Ad Strategist. And one of the things I like about what she does is that she actually goes through and defines the strategy, not just like putting money in Facebook ads and thinking it'll work.
Well, and she's huge on organic strategy
and
first.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Before you jump into the paid strategy, because you've got to prove that it works before you throw money at it.
Yep, and that's the biggest thing. And she actually will tell people, no, you should not run ads unless you have people already buying it, and then you're going to use the ads to scale it.
Well, and you need that data. You need to know who's buying it, why they're buying it, what caused them to say, yes, I want that, and I'm going to pay you for it right now. You've got to kind of understand all that about your customer before you can then go out and direct it to more people like that.
Yeah, and so one of my favorite quotes around this topic is, you need to nail it before you scale it. And early on, I have people that when I tell them they got to get on the phone, they're like, well, I can't scale that. And I'm like, listen, you don't have a scaling problem yet. You have a, will somebody pay me money for this problem? So early on, you want to do all the things that don't scale, because that's what's going to really help you see if it works or not. And then once you see that it's working, then you can start doing some of the scaling stuff, which is like running paid traffic and marketing and that type of thing.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
I love it. You guys can tell, I geek out over this stuff.
He's totally geeking out over this.
Well, but this is the stuff that, as you said, people don't talk about. And a lot of people want to sell you their high-end course, or they want to sell you the thing they're doing. So they're going to tell you to go and do all these things. But if you start with this foundation, and their stuff's not wrong.
No, it's not.
But oftentimes they skip over the beginning stuff
first. Yeah, exactly.
And people never get over that first hump. And this is the stuff that will get you over that first hump.
Yep. All right. So, homework for today's episode.
Love homework.
Love homework. Just like school. So I think it is just so helpful. Anyone who's listening, whether you have a new idea or you're already working on your business, just take that half hour to an hour that Tom mentioned and go fill out your lean canvas. Because even if you already have a business established, this is so helpful, and it gives you so many more insights than you ever had before in your business when you actually have to sit down and think about this stuff. So that's my homework for you, is to go and grab our lean canvas. We have a free download at...
Oh, we'll put it on the show notes.
We'll put it on the show notes because I can't remember the URL. But go and grab that and fill that out.
Yeah, and actually, so what we're going to do too, so we have a course within Lifestyle Builders called Concept to Cash, which walks through this. But what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to pull the video out that walks through how to fill the lean canvas out, and we'll put that on the show notes page too. So you guys can download the canvas and then watch the video and make sure you fill this out for your next idea.
Yeah,
I like
that.
My homework, building off of what Ariana's, do her homework first. Man.
We're getting really specific.
I know. My homework is going to be, once you fill that out, I want you to make a list of 10 people that would potentially be customers of yours. And I want you to go and just talk to them. Get on a video call, meet them in person for coffee, and just basically pick their brain. Like I said, say, I have an idea, but you're somebody that might be interested in this. I'd just be interested in, what are your thoughts and any feedback you have? And I'll tell you, after you do 10 of these, you're going to have so much more clarity. You're going to probably make some shifts to your idea.
Yep.
And then that's going to be the momentum that you can build off of.
Yeah. It really works, guys. I've done it multiple times. So I can tell you from personal experience, it's exciting. It gives you momentum. It gives you clarity. And it just allows you to know that you're moving in the right direction rather than guessing.
Yeah, and friend of ours, Jill Stanton from Screw the 9 to 5, she talks, we were at one of her conferences, and she said, entrepreneurs thrive off momentum. And this is what starts that ball rolling to give you momentum. And so what a lot of people don't realize is that without that, you can constantly be stuck. So this will be a really good starting point for that.
Yeah. All right. What's your bookshelf feature for us today?
Oh, I love it. So actually the bookshelf is directly in line with this. And so the book is called Running Lean. And it actually walks through all the stuff that we just talked about. So actually the guy who wrote this book, Ash Miura, created the Lean Canvas off of another one-page business plan called the Business Model Canvas. And what this book does is it actually walks you through a lot of the steps that we just talked about. So we train on this stuff, but some people really like just reading. And so what this book does is it actually walks you through that process of filling out your Lean Canvas, testing the market, and then developing something called an MVP, a minimum viable product. So that book we always recommend to people, and then that's the process that we take people through as well.
Yep.
So you can come and watch the video on our show notes page.
Or you can grab the book.
Or you can grab the book, or you can do both.
All right, you guys, it's been another great episode with Tom and Ariana, your hosts and lifestyle builders.
And I want you guys to remember that it's your life, your business, your way. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Are you frustrated by a lack of momentum in your business? Do you want real-time guidance and support from seasoned entrepreneurs who really care about your results? If you're nodding your head or awkwardly shouting yes in public somewhere, then we invite you to join Lifestyle Builders, a mentorship program designed to meet you where you are and give you strategic and custom guidance so you can build the business you need for the life you crave. You can find out more at joinlifestylebuilders.com.
Your life, your business, your way. Join Family Entrepreneur Life. Join Family Entrepreneur